Welcome to another Fret Tips episode. Last week I was on a trip in Granada, Spain, where I picked up this Swampler Pinnacle, an excellent drive pedal I've had my eyes on in the past few months. And in the meantime I also had a JHS Pulp and Peel on the way. As you can see, it arrived. And as I was testing both pedals, I noticed the Pinnacle weighing just a tad more, and I got an odd hunch and opened up the pedal, and lo and behold, there was a 9-volt Wampler battery inside. A funny thing happened. I did test the pedal in the store, and the clerk plugged in a 9-volt power supply immediately without plugging the supply into the power outlet, and the pedal didn't power up because the 9-volt barrel bypasses the battery as the clerk plugged it in. So I didn't really think about checking if there was a battery inside at all. And it made me think of the time I got the Love Pedal Amp 11 and found a 9-volt battery inside after months of using it. So it got me thinking about all the things you should check when you get a new guitar pedal. First off, if you got the pedal with the manual, check the manual. It should give you all the pertinent information, the specifications, and if there's any tips on how to use it, the explanation about the knobs, the wiring, the signal placement, power specifications such as current draw, polarity, and voltage, hidden functions, and trim pots or dip switches. Plus, there's often suggested settings to get you started. I like to keep my manuals sorted and filed separately with the corresponding pedal boards in a binder like this one, and it really helps when I'm doing a deep dive into tone hunting. If there was no manual with your pedal, which is often the case when you buy used, check for it online on the manufacturer's website. I keep those in a separate folder on my computer for each individual pedal board. Checking that everything on the pedal works properly is a must. First, it's good to notice how the pedal powers up. After checking the manual for voltage, current draw, and polarity, I usually check the pedal with a proper power supply with a good amount of milliamps on tap. And then come the important questions. Does it power up without a cable plugged into the input or output? Does it power up in the off or on? Does the signal pass without any power supplied to the pedal? And what happens with no power and you hit the switch? Now, a lot of those questions are directly related to the bypassing and buffering on the pedal, and it's good to have more information in case there's a power outage, or the pedal doesn't power up or your signal goes out and you don't really know why. Now, I've had a few mishaps during gigs when the signal went out and simply disengaging the pedal restored the signal. You can troubleshoot what happened, whether a power cable came loose or an output on the power supply shorted out or whatever, after the song or during the break. Second, turn and test all the knobs and switches, listening for the functions to really function properly. I bought a used Strymon El Capistan quite a while ago and loved the tone immediately, but I didn't really check everything right away simply because I was in the middle of a few projects and sessions at that time and didn't really take a lot of time to explore the pedal. I had other pedal boards available. So after 2 weeks or so, I noticed the mix knob was somehow stuck at 30% no matter how I turned the knob. I checked the secondary function of the knob and it was the same. Well, turned out the pot was faulty. I notified the seller, but after 2 weeks I couldn't really hold anyone but myself responsible. So I contacted Strymon and they sent me a replacement circuit with the pots, and after that happened, I try to always do a thorough check of the pedal. And thirdly, open up the pedal. It's good to check the manual to see if that voids any warranties, but in most cases it shouldn't, so open that box up and check inside, mostly for dip switches and trim pots. Now, in some cases, trim pots might be inside simply for repairs and testing, and should not be tampered with. That should be indicated in the manual as well. But quite often, those trim pots might fine-tune the pedal to better suit your setup. The same goes for the dip switches. Just make sure you mark your settings of the trim pots and dip switches beforehand. You don't want to stray too far in case you like the initial settings the most. And another thing to check once the pedals open up is, of course, the 9-volt battery. So make sure you don't leave any batteries inside your pedals if you're putting them on a wired up pedal board. They will simply be drained of power in a matter of hours, and after some time and a few temperature changes, those batteries will start leaking out. And finally, do an internet search on the pedal. There's plenty of suggestions on how to place your new pedal in the signal chain, if there are any mods available, or things that the manual might have missed, such as buffer compatibility, which is often the case with fuzzers and wah pedals, or germanium sensitivity to heat, pedal headroom, and driving the pedal at higher voltages, and even Easter eggs, that's hidden features. On that note, a friend of mine was recently selling the first version of the Calibre Topanga, as he was looking for a spring reverb closer to the Fender Tube reverb unit. So I asked him what he thought of the hidden feature, the modulation feature, because I tried the pedal a few years ago and found it and really liked that tone for finger picking and chords. And he had no idea what I was talking about. Then I went to check the manual online and it just isn't there at all. I just found out about it from forums and online searches. And it's not like it's easy to find. You have to power up the pedal with the tone control on 0, and to reverse it, do the power up with the tone fully open. So yeah, pretty hidden. On a non-pedal related purchase, an online search even helped me buy a keyboard because of an Easter egg. So you never know what piece of gear might be hiding surprises inside. Well, I hope this video helps you navigate the guitar pedal trade waters just a bit better. And be sure to hit those likes and subscribes, and see you next time on Fret Tips.